Isn't she beautiful? You want to create your own Scrappy Bird like this one? What do you think I ought to name her? Maybe Persimmon? I don't know. That's kind of a bright persimmon color in the background there. But anyway, if you want to create one like her, stay with me because I'm fixing to show you how. How happy I am that you're here with me today. I'm going to start a new project here. Uh, this is just a little piece of batting, and I've taken a piece of kind of a woven cloth here that's a little bit wrinkledy, but I want the texture in here. And then I'm gonna build a bird on here, and we'll just see what he looks like on this background, okay? And I'm thinking about cutting my bird out of this. So let's go ahead and do that and see what he looks like that way. Where do I want to cut him from? Probably right here is okay. Let's just pin him in there and see what we get. One thing is you never know exactly what you're going to get till you cut. Oh, oops, I pinned him to the background. There you go. When you're doing a collage piece like this. And let's just get it easy by getting it cut down first. Okay. Now the background here is just basted. It's not securely sewn. So that will be the first thing I do once I get the shape cut out, is get the edges sewn so that the little pieces don't come out. Okay. Just take your bird shape and cut him out. Just simulate him. Okay. So that will be our bird body. Kind of interesting looking, isn't he? Let me go ahead and get him sewn down so he don't come out of there. Let's see what I want to use for that. Let's use a little bit. I think I have some tan up here. A little bit of tan color. This probably won't show much when I get done because I'll be doing other stitching over the top of it. But just to get something down. So I can even, if I take large stitches, cut it out of there if I don't want it. Okay, let's do it gently because, like I said, the edges are open. We just want to close them down. Secure our pieces in there. Most of the time I have these quilted down really securely, but this one I did not quilt it down like that. And so I thought I would try it this way and see if I like it better or than the quilted one. Okay. Keep those pieces under that. There is a layer of netting on top of all these fabric scraps that is helping to hold everything together. And like I said, I know I'm going to be adding more stitches and more fabric to this for the wings and tails and things like that. So I'm not worried about anything that's gappy or anything like that right now. Remember that in every piece of work you do, there's always the, oh my gosh, what have I done stage. When you start, you think, I don't know, can I make this look like what I have in my head? I envision stitching here, my vision, I don't know. So you have that, oh my gosh moment. And then you get a little ways into it and you have that, oh, this is ugly. You have that ugly moment when it just looks like a mess, and but you have to have confidence in yourself and in your ability to keep going, work out your vision, and it begins to come together. And then when you get done, you think, did I do that? It's beautiful. I love it. Did I do that? And but you have to work through all those stages. And I think that's why so many people give up and quit, because they don't get through the oh my gosh or the ugly stage. They don't give it enough time and effort to get to the, oh, did I make that? It's beautiful. And so have some patience and stick with it. Okay, now the majority of that is going to stay right where it's at, and that's good. It's going to look good on that background. A lot of times I do my stitching on my background after I've got my focal point on, but today I'm going to stitch that background first and see how that process works for me. Okay, we've got him secured enough. We're not going to lose all those elements, okay? All right, very good. Let's get some of this off of our desk here. We don't want it all over our background. All right. Now, I found this variegated thread. I don't have a whole lot of it. It's not very long. But I thought I would like that because it has, the warm, what kind of like a terracotta, soft peachy. Then it has into the purples, all shades of that. So I thought, well, let's try that and see how that works out. Let's get it on our needle here. And we're just going to do some, just whoopie doodle, wonky donkey, all over the place stitching here. I'm going to start from the center and just, place them wherever they go. No rhyme or reason. Long and shorts. Okay. I love this woven fabric, and I really love the color, don't you? And you notice that it's variegated also, and pretty color combinations, and I think it's going to be really pretty to set that off. As you know, I love creating birds, and I haven't done one in a while. So I thought, well, I'm just going to do that for myself. I just love birds, and I just feel like doing a bird. I have a vision of what I want to do with them, and I have a destination. I'm thinking I want to make a little needle book cover out of this. we'll see. Just kind of stipple all over the place. A little bit larger than stipples, but I can put some little ones around in there too, so we can look a little bit more stipply. But it doesn't matter what we call it, does it? It's a stitch. And it's just a straight stitch, short and long. Take a little while to do all this background this way. So I tell you what, I'm going to do some of this off camera and I'll be back shortly. Before I go too much further with the stitching, I thought, you know, that I would add some little tiny gauzy patchwork pieces around the background as I stitch through it. So I wanted to show you that before I continue to go. And so we'll just, let me pin that on because I don't want it moving around. We'll just do the same type of stitching, but we'll include this little patchy stuff as we go. Might make an interesting background. Now that's an intuitive decision. People often ask, well, what do you mean intuitive? Well, it means it wasn't in my vision. It wasn't intentional. It just, as I started stitching, I thought, you know what? I need some splash of color in this background. And what's the best way to do that? And so I thought, okay, let's throw a little patchwork in there with a little color in this a gauzy fabric that very much complements the background fabric we're working with. It's just a decision made on a spur of the moment because of where you are, what you're doing, what the piece needs at the time, whatever your inclination is. My inclination was I love the stippling, but it's going to be a little too plain. I need some splash of color. And so I'll do that with little patchworks. So it's just a spur of the moment, very intuitive, very just a feeling that it needed that. Is it right or wrong? We don't know. An intuitive decision isn't based on right or wrong. It's based on a feeling. And if you go with your feelings, then, you know, you're always right because they're your feelings, you know. So one good thing, if anybody asks you, you tell them you stitch intuitively, so that makes you always right in your decisions. If you can get by with that, let me know. But still, that is, to me, what intuitive means. And even though you stitch with a vision stitching as such, it doesn't mean that you don't make intuitive decisions as you go, or you stitch in the moment as you go, or anything like that. It just means that vision stitching for me, in other words, I label a lot of things slow stitching because that is what most people understand, that that phrase, but slow stitching is more about the process than the destination. So most of the time I call what I do vision stitching. But for the sake of the community, we'll all call it slow stitching because that's what everyone understands, okay? And there is nothing wrong with that. I think I really like the look of this. Isn't that cute? Just worked in with that. I think I really like that. Good intuitive decision, Linda. Yes, I did. Do all intuitive decisions turn out well? Honestly, they do not. There will be some that, even though they're not wrong, they're just, when you get through, you just don't like them as much as you thought you might. Okay. Now, I will continue this off camera and I'll be back shortly. Well, I've gotten a little further on this bird here. Let me show you what I've done. I actually didn't get any further in the background. I went ahead and placed the bird so I wouldn't do a lot of stitching underneath on the background just to cover it up. So I went ahead and put the bird on there, and I was doing a little stitching on that and working on this little part right here first. His little wing is on there, and I haven't got the head on there yet, so I'm going to just finish out this thread. And by the way, if you're watching my makeover, my organizing, you'll find that I found this thread I never knew I had. Isn't that a gorgeous, gorgeous color? And I'm using it in this project here. So that's one of the benefits of cleaning up your craft room. Just knowing what you've got, you know. When you've got a lot of stuff over the years accumulated, it can get buried and lost. So, but let me keep stitching with this little bit I have left here, and we're just doing a little of the little stretchy stitches, what I call stretchy stitches, little long stitches that kind of simulate feathers. Gives the piece a little sense of movement. It's a series of just longer and shorter stitches, actually, is all that is, and kind of, you know, staggering them a little bit and just give it a little bit of texture and movement and with the stitching. Now, part of this, the head is going to cover, so I'm not going to come all the way up. Just going to stop about there and just finish off my thread here. Just love this color of thread. Don't know when or where I ever got it, but I love this color of thread. Okay, we have some little feathery stitches there, and that'll blend in and make a lot more sense when I get the other stitching done on the bird along the okay. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the background, I think, and work on that some more, but I wanted to bring you up on where I'm at right now. And oh, I know what I need to do. I need to finish, let me do that first. I need to finish doing the blanket stitch around the outside of the bird body. I got sidetracked and Well, I ran out of thread and started something different. That's what it was. Boy, it's storming again in northeast Texas where I live. Texas has been hit with storm after storm after storm for several months now. Thankfully, right where I am, we haven't had a bad tornado, but anywhere really close. But they've been all over the place. It's just been a bad storm year. Okay, let's come there. I'm using just a plain black because this is a very busy piece in color and pattern, and so this really takes the black to outline this bird. Normally I don't do it that strongly, but you know, to pull it up and away from the background, and which is going to get even busier as I add the other stitching in the background. But never fear, it's going to come together. At least my vision says it's going to come together. Just to clue you in, my vision has been wrong at times. So that's why I've learned to appreciate perfectly imperfect. Get some of the twist out of that. We don't have to get this tail just perfect because I'm going to be adding stitching and probably some more fabric there to fluff up that tail. So won't spend a lot of time making that stitch pretty. Just about around. One more. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Now I'm wondering if I want to come in here with the rest of this thread. What I might do is come back down here, come up, take the back side of my needle and run this thread under those stitches. Okay. Push them up close to that top, which gives me a double line, almost like back stitching, outlining stitching. Just use the rest of the thread here. And this way's a lot quicker and does the same thing. Just work it under those threads. Pull it, and work it up to the top. Don't have my light up all the way. Don't know why I didn't, but okay, let's take my tweezers here and let's just push those up. To the top. Well, I caught that underneath, so that won't work. Okay, we still got some on here, so we're going to go back and make another pass and build up that black along that edge. That's really going to help bring our bird forward and help also when we start putting other stitches in, that we don't lose that edge. Also, sometimes this can just look like part of the feathers. It just kind of blends in and gives you that kind of a ruffly look along your edges, which helps to give you the feathery look. Okay. All right. Do you use this method of, and if you do, what do you use it on? Now I know there's some decorative embroidery stitches that uses, does this type of thing with the back of the needle, but just generally I'm talking about, to use it in something that you do generally, and why. So you see what a difference that makes. Which I'm just going to keep doing it until my thread runs out. I don't know if you can hear it thundering outside, but it is. And lightning around. I don't like to get on the computer when it's lightning. I sure don't want my computer to get struck. I don't like the surges either that come through the electrical when it's doing stuff like that. Okay, what do you think? I think that's probably going to do it. Let's tie it off. And that gave me a nice black ridge up here to work with. And even if I don't do a lot of feathers up there, I'm going to have this roughed look up there, which is, you know, texture is just wonderful. Okay. All right. Okay, we finished off that black thread. And I like the way that that looked. And I'm thinking that this is going to be my head that I'm going to put on there, which is a contrast color. But you see how that really brings that up and emphasizes that. That looks really good. Later on, if I might do it along just the belly area here, and we'll just see how that works. But once I get the head on there and know exactly where at, then I probably will come in here with more stitches and fill this in with these stitches here. I think I'm going to use some of the white and cream on the wing here with just a little of this color in there. But for now, I'm going to work on the background some more. And you've already seen me stitching on that, so I'm not going to bore you to death with that. So I'll be working on that, and then I'll be back when I start doing something different. Okay, let's look at some of the finishing touches so you can do yours. We started off with a basic bird shape and some little snippet pieces in the back, some stitching in the background, not a lot, but we did some. Now notice what I've done here. I've taken some just decorative thread, strung it through these little pieces that we stitched on and around and over that stitching. And it just kind of looks like greenery or growth or twigs. It sets off this bird. I did the same thing down here, just wound it around, couched it on there. Very simple. Added the more little just twiggy stitches around, okay? So we have these little scraps. We have some scrap yarn. We have some simple stitches here. Now our bird, we had this basic shape in the back. You saw how I came and threaded that black thread back and forth until I built up a stronger border around this bird here. I picked a contrasting color for the head so it would stand out more. Put a little piece here for the breast color that would coordinate. Put my beak on, just put a little stitching there, a little stitching around the head. Made my eye out of a little flower and a bead. Put my wing on here. My wing is not real prominent, but it's there, and I like it in this one because everything is so busy. It allows the bird body to come out a little bit more than just the wing. But I stuck her a little simple tail on there and a little hairdo up there. Okay. Used some fibers, did some pulling of threads to get me some fringy fibers and added those for the wings and things. did some stitching that just kind of simulates feather movements. You can see that along the wing here and over here and up on the top knot. Okay, again, all straight stitches, some little bitty stipple stitches right in the wing area down here. Okay, there's not one element on this that is difficult. There is nothing but straight stitches, long and short, a couching stitch over the threads. It's all done with scraps. Even the background is, a scrappy collage. It's very simple and can be done by beginners or anyone who just wants to start playing. The most important part is use your own intuition, use your own color theme that you really love, a burst of color, simple, however you want to do it. Just take a few techniques that you learn from other people and apply it to your art, and you'll end up with something you really love. Okay, now this piece here, I don't even know what size it was. It's about a 5.5 by 5.5, and I haven't finished the outside yet because I don't know what I'm going to use it for. And when I determine exactly what I'm going to use it for, that'll tell me what I'm going to do with the edges. Okay, so I think it's beautiful. I love it, and I hope you will too. So remember, grab some of those scraps and stay very scrap happy.